Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Makeup artist shot dead in Westmoreland. A woman was shot dead outside her house in Sheffield, Westmoreland on Sunday evening. The deceased has been identified as 23-year-old Moisha Heat, otherwise called Momo, a makeup artist of Sandy Bay in Clarendon. The incident happened about 5:50 p.m. Reports are that Heat and a male companion drove into their yard. Upon exiting the vehicle, they were approached by three men coming from the rear of their house. One of the men called out to the male and told him not to move, after which they opened gunfire at them. They both ran in separate directions. However, the male companion managed to escape unhurt and summoned the police. On arrival of the lawmen, Heat was seen lying on her back close to the entrance of her house, with what appeared to be gunshot wounds in the region of her head and upper body. She was subsequently transported to the Savannah Mar Public General Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. No motive had yet been established for the killing. Chopped victim, gunned down attacker as reprisal. Police in St. James are now searching for a chopped victim who returned minutes later and shot his attacker to death. The tragic incident took place at Queen's Drive in Montego Bay. Police have identified the man as 45-year-old Dave Roy from the resort city. Police reports are that about 3:15 p.m., Roy and a man had a dispute which turned physical. Police said during the altercation, Roy used a machete to inflict a wound on the man. The man reportedly left and later returned. A firearm was then used to shot Roy multiple times. The suspect allegedly made good his escape in a waiting motor car. The police were alerted and the now deceased man was transported to the Conroe Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Efforts to locate the suspect have so far been unsuccessful, the police stated. Man who reportedly fled hometown gunned down in Bog Walk. A St. Catherine man who police believe had fled his home in Garden Pen was tracked down by an unknown assailant and murdered in Bog Walk on Monday morning. The deceased has been identified as Ricardo Brady Edwards from Garden Pen in Spanish Town. He was shot dead by a gunman in an area known as Cashew Walk in West Prospect, Bog Walk. Police reports indicate that about 11 a.m., Edwards went to a corner shop in the community when he was pounced upon by a man who opened gunfire at him. The police say Edwards ran into a dwelling adjoining the shop and was pursued by his attacker, who continued firing before fleeing on foot in the area. Residents summoned the authorities, who found the deceased with several gunshot wounds partially slumped over the rim of a blue barrel. Edwards, the police say, fled Garden Pen following a disagreement he had with men from the community. The police believed his new location was later discovered and he was killed. Trial date set for St. James woman charged with 2011 murder of child's father. A 28-year-old St. James woman accused of fatally stabbing her child's father in 2011 will go on trial on January 2024. Crystal Phillips received her trial date when she appeared in the St. James Circuit Court on Monday before High Court Justice Andrea Thomas. Phillips, who was 18 at the time of the crime, is charged with the murder of Ronnie Gray of Cotton Lane in Mount Salem in the parish, who was 23 at the time of his death. When the matter was mentioned on Monday, attorney at law Albert Morgan, who is representing Phillips, was unable to attend owing to illness. Justice Thomas then advised Phillips that her bail was extended until January 15, 2024. Allegations are that about 2:30 a.m. on November 6, 2011, Phillips shows up at Gray's home in Mount Salem and got into an argument with his mother. Sometime afterwards, Gray arrived there and was about to enter his room when Phillips allegedly tried to prevent him from doing so. It is said that he got inside and the accused followed him. Gray was then heard calling for help and Phillips was reportedly spotted fleeing the room with a knife in her hand. Gray, who was stabbed multiple times, was taken to the Conroe Regional Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. St. Mary delivery man murdered in unfinished home. Police detectives in St. Mary have launched a murder investigation after the body of a man was found in an unfinished house at Spring Valley Estate, Tower Isles on Sunday afternoon. The body, which had a gunshot wound to the back, is suspected to be that of Alexander Rocky, 57, a delivery man from Boscobel, St. Mary. Rocky had been reported missing at the Portmore police station by family members on Thursday. Police said the description of the deceased corresponds with what the missing person report stated. According to the police, at about 5:30 p.m., Residents detected a foul odor and observed vultures hovering over the two-bedroom unfinished concrete and board structure. A resident called the police, who found the partially decomposed body in the kitchen, lying face down in what appeared to be blood with a gunshot wound to the back. The police reportedly also observed what appeared to be a blood trail leading from the garage area to the body. The body is of dark complexion, medium build, and about 5 feet 6 inches long, and clad in a blue shirt and blue short jeans pants. The police say they are probing reports that a small truck Rocky operates was spotted by family members in Clarendon on Sunday. It is alleged that when the truck was accosted, 2 men ran from the vehicle. Berlam to assess operations following attack on employees, service delays expected. Berlam Limited has reported that it will be assessing its operation island-wide, which may result in delays in deliveries of services. This following an attack robbery in Portsmouth on Sunday, during which 3 cars attached to the company were shot and wounded. A civilian was also wounded in the incident, which occurred as the security guards were servicing an automated teller machine. Director of Operations for Guardsman Group Limited, Lieutenant Commander George Overton, said the company will be looking to see what can be done differently to mitigate against threat to its operations. Speaking to reporters, Lieutenant Commander Overton noted that criminals are becoming increasingly vicious.
These things, are always possible, and you pray that they never happen. When they do happen, you have to reflect inwards, see what can be done better, what can be done differently, and see how we can mitigate further against these types of risks. It's a service that has to be provided to the country, and therefore we just have to see how we soldier on in the matter. It's very unfortunate that our team came under attack at Scotia Cockburn Pen, and we really are saddened by it. It has clearly indicated that the criminal element in our society has stepped up their game with how they operate and the viciousness with which they attack. Therefore, we just have to see how we mitigate. Our crew members are receiving treatment at hospital, and we do wish them a speedy recovery and full recovery.
Meantime, head of the Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, has indicated that the police will be engaging in discussions with the security company on the heels of Sunday's attempted robbery, during which 4 people were shot. Responding to questions about safety concerns, SSP Lindsay noted that the criminals involved in these robberies are not targeting civilians, but urge persons to be cautious nonetheless.
So in cases like these, the senior managers from the force will engage senior managers from that company. The local officer on the scene will, based on their local knowledge and based on the information that they have, they will also provide briefs. So it's about they'll have to go to the table and have some discussion to see what happened, do some post-mortem, look at the systems that are in place, because no systems are foolproof, and to see if we can make recommendations from our side about security measures that can be implemented. And so the dialogue continues, but as I said, there's no foolproof system, so there will be a lot of discussion between the security company and the police. We know that when something like this happens, persons are genuinely concerned about an incident like this. It's one of the ATM that is very well used, and we're very thankful at this time that more persons weren't injured given the level of gunfire. So even as we speak to individuals, we still ask them to be cautious. Based on what we've seen is that they are not targeting the individuals who are utilizing the bank per se. They are more inclined to be targeting the courier.
Opposition says inflation has made the new minimum wage inadequate. Despite the national minimum wage being increased by $1,000 more than the figure put forward by the People's National Party (PNP), the party's General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell is still not satisfied with the latest increase. Last week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that effective June 1, the national minimum wage will be moving to $13,000 per 40-hour work week, up from $9,000. Reacting to the announcement at a recent PNP meeting in Nannyville, Kingston, Dr. Campbell lamented that given the high inflation levels, the new amount is still not adequate. Dr. Campbell also expressed concern that some persons who employ minimum wage workers will not be able to afford the new rates.
When the comrade leader said to them, and comrade Julian said to them last year, bringing minimum wage got $12,000 there for me. Them say can't work. how we fiscally irresponsible are that them say, you know. Now when you come and say you announce a minimum wage, gone at $13,000, should have go more than that because the $12,000 should have increased by what inflation be. So you're still not ready yet, Mr. Prime Minister. When you are going to increase the minimum wage by $4,000 a week, but you increase the teacher pay by $2,000 a month, then we want them to tell you how it go working. We want them to tell you how it go working. Because if you increase the minimum wage, we agree fully. But you must make sure so you increase the person where you pay the minimum wage person so they have the money if you pay them.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and